Welcome back to the Watchman. We're in our final lesson, the conclusion of the series entitled Faith in the Mountains. I hope you've watched and listened to the previous ones about the different songs that are in this album that I created lyrics for, and out of biblical studies, personal testimonies, the different teachings that I've been asked to do throughout my life, the impact that people in my life have had on me and my growth and my personal walk with Christ. So in this conclusion, throughout this whole series, Hebrews 12, 1-3 has served as our guiding passage. Therefore, since we have so great cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let us also lay aside every encumbrance and the sin which so easily entangles us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him who has endured such hostility by sinners against himself, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. And then, of course, I have to read James chapter 1, verses 2-4. Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and that endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Every song on this album represents a step in a Christian journey. Every lesson points to the same truth. Jesus is not only the author of our faith, he is the one who will bring our faith to completion. The mountain may be steep, the valley may be dark, the fire may be hot, but Jesus always remains faithful. And because he is faithful, we can keep climbing the mountain. It is not a one mountaintop experience and then stay there. It is a lifelong race, a daily walking of trusting, following, worshiping, and persevering with our eyes fixed on Jesus. And yes, there are times in our lives when we backslide and we fall down the mountain. As we look back on Faith in the Mountains, we can see how God has been leading us every step of the way, providing people, witnesses in our lives to help us on our journey. Burned Week Away taught us that God uses trials to refine us. The furnace has a purpose. The fire removes what is weak so that Christ can strengthen what remains. Mountain Faith reminded us that the God who created the mountains is still able to move them. Faith grows when we trust God's promises instead of our own circumstances. Thunder Ridge Revival challenged us to worship boldly, not to stay silent. If creation proclaims God's glory without an apology, then believers should do the same. Coal Dust Testimony showed us that every believer has their own story. God uses family, mentors, hardships, victories, and life's experience to shape us into who he had called us to become. Glory Through the Smoke revealed the incredible privilege we have through Jesus Christ. Because the veil was torn, we now have direct access to God's presence through prayer and worship. And then when the elk call encouraged us to endure, God strengthens our feet for the journey and teaches us to trust him through every valley, every mountain, and every storm. When you put all these 6 songs together, they tell the one story. God refines us. God strengthens us. God teaches us to worship. God gives a testimony. God invites us into his presence. God teaches us to endure. And through every step of the journey, Jesus remains at the center. Philippians chapter 1, verse 6 reads, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." What a powerful promise. The God who started the work in you is not finished. The God who met you in your valleys is still walking beside you today. The God who refined you in the fire still holds you in his hands. The God who heard your prayers still listens. The God who gives you a testimony is still writing your story. And the God who strengthened you yesterday will strengthen you tomorrow. Perhaps you're walking through a fire right now. Perhaps you're staring at a mountain that seems impossible to climb. Perhaps you're waiting for a revival. Perhaps you're struggling with a purpose in your story. Maybe you don't feel that your prayers are being answered. Or perhaps you're just simply tired of this journey. Wherever you find yourself today, remember this. Keep climbing. Keep trusting. Keep worshiping. Keep praying. Keep sharing your testimony. Keep your eyes on Jesus. The mountain may be steep. The valleys may be low. The trail may be difficult. The weather ever changing. But the one leading you never will. Remember, fire has a purpose. Mountains have a purpose. Your testimony has a purpose. Until next time, keep your faith in the mountains. Take care, be strong, and God bless.